Last orders at the bar!
It's at the bar. It's at the bar. It's at the bar. A night in with Mauler and the drinker, getting trashed with the web street thinkers. A cheap night cause I'm feeling kinda thrifty, got a 10-pack of beers and a bottle of whiskey. Hop up the cork, have a glass of wine. I feel safe, I'll be fine. Trouble walking in a straight line, but pour me a Pinot Noir. It's open bar with our hosts, Mauler and the critical drinker.
Well, hello, everybody. Welcome back.
Hello.
It is Last Orders at the Bar. As always, we are here to answer some super chats that were left over from open bar number 105. So I think we should just jump right into it and get started with this. How about that, Mauler?
Yeah, sounds like a good idea. Good plan.
Alrighty. So the first one here comes from Scottish Nerd, who says, "Hail, drinker, Mauler, and panel. Had a thought that Alice Rivers is projecting herself into Matt Damon's heads from River Run Through the Weirwood. Sir Simon said that she went there to help Lord Tully." Oh, yeah, I think we did that one, actually, just the other night. Yeah, because I remember that one. That was right at the end. Apologies.
I gave that theory on the old Gary stream, and I was called crazy for it. So we'll see.
Who's crazy now? Well, I'll skip to the one that's actually the first one we haven't done. So that's from Paul Connolly, who says, "Deadpool and Wolverine was the best pre-birthday treat that I could have gotten. A diamond in the rough, even though there's a lot of rough now."
Sure.
Thank you. Well, Mauler and I were talking at length about Deadpool and Wolverine, but I'm glad you enjoyed it. And I'm glad you had a good birthday. So
Yeah.
Lee Miller says, "Drinker, can you review Babylon 5? In my opinion, one of the best." Yes, it is very good. I guess I would have to rewatch it because the last time I watched Babylon 5 was probably back in the late 90s, early 2000s. So it has been a very long time. But yeah, from what I recall, good show. Grimwolf says, "Have you ever seen or reviewed Equilibrium?" Yes to both. You can find a review for it on my second channel. So yeah, another good movie. It's quite fun.
Yeah.
Casey Boyd, "Drinker, your next visit to America needs to be Kentucky. Lots of bourbon, meat, and guns. What else do you need in life?" Well, I mean, if you can throw a few strippers in there as well, that's fine. And then I can shoot the strippers with the guns while eating meat and drinking bourbon. Perfect. Social Morlock says, "Thanks to EFAP for the thanks to EFAP for the 6 hours of non-stop laughs that I got from the boogie doc. I'm now going down the Stuckman hole. I don't want to be Stuckmanized. Thanks for the open bar. It's the only thing that brings me joy."
And it's funny because that's our standard. They say a thing that is like, oh, the EFAP after that was another 7 hours of boogie adventure. So enjoy.
Yeah. And I was privileged enough to take part in that. So now I feel like I've been exposed to my maximum dosage of boogie for the year. Any more and it becomes a health risk. Snex says, "Merry Christmas in July, open bar." Okay, it's an unconventional approach, but I like it. If you want to wash out the bad taste of Acolyte, then I recommend the 2D animated Clone Wars. Cheers, mates. Is Clone Wars worth watching?
Depends who you ask. I've talked to people who've said yes, maybe, and absolutely not.
I struggle to give a shit about it. I'm not going to lie about that one. Yeah, it's not something that I've ever felt a great deal of enthusiasm to watch. Will Dreamer says, "Another open bar, and I couldn't be happier. The Acolyte is behind you, hopefully." Yes! I was so happy to not talk about it that week. It's been great. And it might soon be forgotten, definitely. I patiently anticipate the Drinker's next Firefly watch with Mauler. Savoring that show with both of you is a joy. It truly is the only thing that brings me joy in life, so thank you for sharing it, Mauler. But yeah, we've been meaning to do it. I think the past couple of weekends we've got like 2 or 3 episodes that we want to watch all at once.
Yes, we might just have to it'll be the month we didn't do it, and then we'll go back on as though back to normal, right? Like
scheduling has been a problem, and partly it's because of the Acolyte. It's eaten up quite a bit of our time with various projects and stuff, and it's part of the reason. But things are going back to normal now. So we'll get right back to it, and I'm looking forward to watching the next bunch of episodes. Casey Boyd, "Did the Brits ever listen to Lady Sovereign back in the day?" Not really.
Not really.
Jordan,
anyway.
Yeah, no, not for me. Jordan Pendragon, A History of Violence from 2005 is the last film ever to be committed to the VHS format. Another end of an era. Yeah, I think we talked about that on the night. Good memory. Yeah, History of Violence. I'm actually amazed that VHS lasted until 2005. That's impressive.
Yeah.
Mega Spidey Man says, favorite Deadpool moments. Now, Mauler, in the interests of your sanity, I will include all 3 Deadpool movies in that for you.
Sweet. Well, what about you? Do you want to go first? You can name something from the new one.
Yeah, well, I suppose we're past the point where we have to worry about spoilers and so on, so I can just like dive right into it. Yeah, the fight in the car was really good. I enjoyed that from a choreography point of view, and it was nice and fast, fun, lots of violence, and it actually made up for quite a disappointing fight that they had just in the void. You know, the first time they fought each other, it was just them in a big open space. It was a bit kind of slow and plain. It was disappointing, but the car fight was really good. Any scene that had Blade in it made me smile because I was just so happy to see Wesley Snipes back again. He was good.
I did enjoy the I don't like you, and he says you never did.
Yeah. And the fact that there was a Scottish Deadpool, that made me very happy. So,
and a Welsh one. Welsh pool.
there was Welsh pool, yeah. What about you?
Deadpool 1, I love the insult about the way he looks from TJ Miller
TJ
saying,
Miller.
You look like an avocado had sex with an older, more disgusting avocado.
Like he looks like a scrotum with teeth.
He says you look like Freddy Krueger fucked a topographical map of Utah.
It's how it begins as well. He just goes, your face is haunting.
And he says something like, you will die alone if you could die, ideally, for others' sake.
There's some quite good insults for Big Al as well, or sorry, Blind Al. It's like where he thinks he's about to go off and die, and he's like, "Oh, I left a bag of cocaine in the apartment. It's right beside the cure for blindness."
Yeah.
Anything from Deadpool 2?
Yeah, I was trying to remember. I loved when Cable shoots at him and he chops the bullet in half, just like a reference to X-Men Origins Wolverine, and then he starts doing the full thing, and you can just see the blood splatters in the back, and then he just goes, "Wow, bullets are fast."
I do remember that one. And is there anything from Deadpool 3 that made you laugh?
I already said the Blade one.
Well, that's fair, yeah. Okay, that'll do. Patrick Mulligan, thoughts on the latest RLM Acolyte review? I liked.
They apologized to Star Wars Theory, I guess.
No, he's now known as Star Wars Man.
Then there's their commentary is very, for lack of a better word, flaccid. They don't seem to have any clue what they're talking about for the most part. They come at this trying to talk on the culture surrounding it while also staying completely away from it, which makes for some very strange and stale takes. I wish they would kind of stop talking about shit they don't care about. It's one of the main pieces of advice I have for everybody doing YouTube shit. Please just talk about shit you care about. That's all I want.
Not too much to ask, is it? Yeah, I agree, 100%. Albert Nada Retro says, I have to call Snarky G's credibility as a critic into question as she thinks that Love and Thunder is the best Thor movie. I say ban her for life. She can't honestly have said that.
Nah, she can't possibly. No one would have that opinion. Nope.
If she has, we will correct her, sir.
Surgery shall be done.
Yeah. Richard Coots says, Halo was just cancelled. Wait, you're telling me people didn't want to see Master Chief's face or his bare arse? I know, it's crazy, right? But
honestly,
there you go.
That's not even close to the main problem with that show. Like, the writing is so disastrous. But had they given him the mask, for all we know, the show might not have been canceled. People might have been watching it a hell of a lot more. That made a huge difference, especially the comments following it.
Yeah, I feel like nothing of value was really lost there. So who knows? Maybe like 10 years from now, they'll have another crack at it and actually get it right. Stranger things might have happened. JJ Sickman says, I do enjoy the intro. I'm in late, but I still rewind for it and then speed up later to catch up. Cheers, lads. Well, excellent. I'm glad you like it so much.
Yeah.
K-Lock says, with the release of Twisters, any films that you love despite their flaws or plot holes just for the sheer fun of them, like Mahler with Van Helsing. Yeah, damn, I was actually going to name that one. That's one that's
That
really
film
good
is
fun.
fucking fun. Like, it's awful, but it's so fun. It's so stupid.
Yeah.
In a good way. Batman and Robin is obviously one I cite as well.
Armageddon is the one I always go to, I suppose.
Mhm.
I have a lot of fun with that, despite the absolute insanity going on in it. It's just got such gusto behind it. I miss movies like that. Chatterbox says, just saw Deadpool and Wolverine tonight. My God, it was such a happy vibe throughout that. Honestly, it felt like someone behind the scenes cared. Would you concede to that notion, Mauler?
No.
Okay. Fine.
I've got many positions that relate to how I don't think many people gave a shit at all. Except, Hugh Jackman's performance. You could tell he was giving it everything, but I don't know that that's special in the sense that he always does. He's a fantastic actor. He's never not given a shit in that way. But I don't get the impression the X-Men, the Fox characters were cared about. I don't get the impression that Deadpool as a continuity was cared about. I don't get the impression that Deadpool as a franchise, being Deadpool 1, 2, 3, was kept intact when it got attached to Marvel. I assume you know about this, but like one of the better examples would be in the intro of Deadpool 1. It would be like, produced by assholes, written by the real heroes, directed by an overpaid tool. In the opening credits, Deadpool 2 did the same thing, except it was switching it out with, wait, did you really just kill Vanessa? What the fuck? What's wrong with you? Why would you kill that character? Stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
In this one, it was executive producer Kevin Feige.
He's got to have his name on it.
Which
they could have easily messed with that, like, a controlling rubber-faced idiot.
I think it was really sad that they couldn't actually make fun of themselves. I think that it's all very much a half measure that's meant to pander to us, and I think it's only a matter of time before people will see it for what it actually is, and it was absolutely meant to trick you. It's not substantive at all. It's not honest. It's corporate cringe.
In that regard, I'm 100% behind you. The criticisms and the mockery of the MCU, it was done in such half measures. Like, you can tell that they were very carefully monitored about what they said with that one, because I feel like Deadpool 1 would have absolutely fucking eviscerated the MCU of today.
Well, hey, drink it. Deadpool 1 and 2 have titties in them. Deadpool 3 could not have that. No, sir.
No. Can't have that. No, it's not allowed.
It's just all cut down and fake, as far as I'm concerned. But yes, you're right. I think that if it were made in the times and spacing of Deadpool 1 and 2, we would have gotten way harsher jokes. And half of the jokes are things they did in the movie, which reminds me of The Boys. It's corporate. Don't like it. Get out of here.
No, it's fine. Don't you understand, Muller? That's the rules of writing. If you call it out, then you can get away with doing it as much as you want yourself, because it shows that you're aware of it. So that makes it fine, right?
I think they have a term for that.
Yes. Metal Face Rosie says, recommending Hamlet 2. It stars Steve Coogan and is written by Pam Brady, the co-writer of the South Park movie, Team America, and Hot Rod. That is some fucking good pedigree right there.
Yeah.
Okay, Hamlet 2. Johnny Tightlips ain't saying nothing. It's right on brand. I approve. Chatterbox also says the highs are high and the lows are mid. It's good. Ooh, I think Muller might contend that the highs are mid and the lows are truly low.
What highs?
Hating on Deadpool and Wolverine is the only thing that brings you joy in life now.
True.
Hostile Bogey Inbound says, there's never been a sweeter bowl of member berries ever served up in a single sitting than this movie. I'm okay with that. Doesn't change the MCU. It definitely doesn't change the MCU, that's for sure. Logan Johnson says, I'm conflicted on whether I should see the third film since I loved the first one a lot, and the second, while flawed, was still good enough to enjoy. I don't know if it's going to hold up in my eyes, sadly.
Remembering the first two films and not going to help you out with watching Deadpool 3.
Here we go. Monkey Man says, let's see if Muller's got some self-control. My mother twitted my fucking tipples!
Marvel twitted my tipples.
Honestly, that's got to be fuel for like a review video at some point. Like just throw.
Oh, it'll I'll
there.
find a way to get that in something.
You've got to do it. Do it for all of us, Muller.
Jabbos.
Casey Boyd says, I can hear Muller slowly dying inside with all this crap content that he's ingesting. I hope you get to watch something good soon, sir. Well, you got House of the Dragon. What more do you want?
Yeah, I do. Well, which, funnily enough, I think I like more than the average person does. House of the Dragon's under fire, so to speak, about like not being, fast paced enough and not having enough happen and this, that, and the other thing. I'm quite fond of it. We're doing reviews on it for EFAP episodes here and there, but yes, I mean, I watch and engage with a lot of stuff I love regularly. It's just not necessarily things we cover on Open Bar, We're doing new films.
Yeah. No, it makes sense. As long as you got a balance and you're not completely like despairing at the state of humanity, then that's something. Tomato Truck says, as soon as I heard the Acolyte Witch's call in the song, it sounded familiar. Then it clicked. The monkeys in the Disney dinosaur movie. Look it up. It's exactly the same. Love your old channels. Is that true? You have to look that up then. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if it's stolen from somewhere, but it's so cringe. Like, it just seemed like something that came straight out of the mind of Leslie Headland. Like, oh man, it'll be so primal and tribalistic and stuff. It'll sound amazing on screen. The internet thought otherwise. Zach Muffin drove all the way from to Cali from New York in under 3 days. I just to miss Gary and the crew by an hour. Thanks for being there while I take a page from Drinker's book and chug brandy till I feel better. That has got to suck. I mean, like, not to be that guy, but like, have you ever heard of airplanes? Like, they're great. They can get you places real fast, and you don't have to drive the whole way. I don't know. It's just a thought. Because 3 days to get somewhere just seems a lot, just to drive. And the amount of money that you must have spent on fuel must have equaled the cost of an airline ticket, surely. Casey Boyd, your reviews are okay and all, but I'll make my decision to see it based on the most detailed and constructive YouTube film critic, Chris Stockman. I mean,
I'm sure he loved it.
I'm sure he gave it a blandly positive review like he does with absolutely everything that he reviews. So
I loved Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yeah.
Please subscribe.
It meant a lot to me because I watched the original X-Men movies and I have really happy memories of going to the movie theater and feeling emotions when I watched those. So it was great to see Wolverine back again.
And Hugh Jackman brought it to the performance.
He did. He brought a performance.
He really did.
Chatterbox says, movie, great. Not perfect, but still great. There you go. Paul Connolly, Welsh Deadpool is a reference to Wrexham FC in Wales, as Ryan Reynolds is one of the owners. Yes, and apparently it was one of the players who actually played Welsh Deadpool. So, there you go.
Oh,
very cool.
Really? Knowing all that, I couldn't give him a line, just one.
I know. Oh, come on. The fun that could have been had there. Dragon Reborn says, hey, lol at the open bar. I hope everyone is well. All things Star Wars is dead. All things Marvel is dead. Everything Disney is dead and rotting. Cancel Disney Plus. Well, I don't know about you, but everyone's super excited that Robert Downey Jr. is coming back to the MCU. He's going to save it. Yeah, imagine what that's going to mean. Absolutely fuck all. Jan Javi says, hi, Drinker and guests. Excited to discuss Cobra Kai. Season 6 was good, but 1 and 3 are still my favorites. I'll probably rewatch the full show someday. I mean, I have got to be totally honest with you, man. I think I've seen 4 episodes of this season, and it's been kind of shit. Like,
you are on an island on that one, from what I hear. Gary and Ryan said it was good.
I maybe it's all going to turn around in that episode 5, but like, whoa, it's been slow to get going. It really has lost the bite of the early seasons. And yeah, I don't know, man. It just feels like it's a different writing team or something behind it. It's hard to describe. The whole vibe is just a bit different. And it's like, it's not like self-aware goofiness anymore. It's just actual goofiness. And I don't know what's happened. But yeah, I'm not loving it. Christopher Hughes says, chat poll, go spoilers if 70% plus of the vote. Yeah, we decided not to spoil it at the time because honestly, it was like Thursday. The movie had literally just come out like that day. Like, not enough people would have seen it yet, and it would have pissed people off. So we decided to keep it vague. Wubway says, in a world of trash media, how do you feel about great shows being canned before their time? Tokyo Vice, Mindhunter, etc. Personally, I weep and wail. It's always sad when that happens. Like shows that deserve so much more and get so much less. You know, even having gotten to the end of Kingdom, I would have wanted a third season to wrap it up. It was really good, and I was really engaged with it, and I was intrigued to see where it was going next. Never happened, apparently. So, anyway, Ashley Gamble. Thoughts on my horror script, please? Haggis hunting in the Highlands. Two young Scots desperate for money dupe gullible tourists into a haggis safari, only to find out something lurks in the woods and the hunters become the hunted. Do they get hunted by an actual wild haggis? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, like a were haggis sort of thing.
Yeah. But that whole concept of like the, you know, people like to con someone else, like, oh, we're going to a haunted house or whatever, and then it turns out it actually is really haunted. Surprise. You know, it's been done quite a few times before, but it's pretty reliable.
Yeah.
Do you see the trailer, actually? This is a slight change of subject, but for the new M. Night Shyamalan movie, where it's like they're hunting a serial killer, and the protagonist is actually the serial killer.
No. Anybody we know?
Oh, okay.
Oh, wait, isn't it Josh Hartnett?
I think it is, yeah. So he's like in a music concert or something, like in a big, you know, stadium. And the place all gets sealed up because they know he's in there, but they don't know exactly who he is, and so he's like fighting to escape.
Could be fun.
Yeah, like
M. Night's reliable, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, he's got a great track record, especially his later movies. He's done great. James Moore, literal ending for Deadpool 2 is Deadpool traveling through time and space, killing mistakes that were made. Some of you all need to rewatch the first two.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why they didn't use that in this film. Instead, he literally killed baby Hitler at the end, and they said like, nah, none of that mattered. It's like, okay, I think it would, but okay.
Would their argument be that the TVA just went back and undid what he changed?
Well, even if that were the case, why then would he not be able to use all of that? Like, you know, he needs Logan. Why would he not do that with the device he had?
He did. There is a line that says that he destroyed it.
Well, he had
Like
the Paradox device, right? Guy from the little machine from Paradox.
Yeah, I suppose it serves the same function, doesn't it?
But if they were cleaning up after all of his mistakes, so to speak, or changes the timeline, one of them was saving his girlfriend. So,
oh yeah, that's true. Yeah. G. Malkin says, I have had a hard recommend that you probably never heard of, Gallivant, not shown in the UK, but has some of the best character writing that I've seen in a show. All right, thanks for the recommendation. T1S, Mauler, have you read the EFAP wiki entry for Trungos? It's quite literally the only thing that brings me joy in life.
I think we would have at some point. There's a lot of moments where we went through the Trungos stuff.
They got a high-level view of what a Trungo is?
Well, there is a restaurant somewhere in America, and it got a lot of good reviews because we couldn't stop laughing at the concept of a restaurant called Trungos.
Okay, yeah.
You know, happens.
I mean, it feels like some food stuff from like Star Trek or something. Like, you know, I've got like 15 kilos of Trungos here that I can trade with you. It's quite an outlandish name. James Moore, also need to know if Deadpool is a cuck in the beginning of the movie or not. I have several bets on the line because of Zeb Wells, a guy made Spider-Man a cuck in the comics, did the writing for this movie. I mean, he is, because Vanessa's split with him and found someone else. So
she dumps him and dates someone else like almost immediately, which is insane. And the reasoning is he doesn't matter enough. That's and by the end of the film, he's like, it doesn't mattering isn't really the thing. It's making sure you have good friends. It's like, you can't say that after you just saved the entire multiverse, man. What do you mean?
You can do both. Casey Boyd, I enjoyed the drama of the first movie the most. I thought the balance between drama and comedy was just perfect. The tension was taken seriously.
Yes, it was. And the drama in the first one is just getting his girlfriend back. And even by the end of the film, where Colossus gives him his speech about how being a hero means making the right decision in the moments that count. Do you remember he's like standing on the top of the villain and the villain's, you know, defeated and he's got a gun to his head and Colossus is like,
yeah.
You know, it's about saving your friends. It's about sparing those that need it. It's about, and then he just shoots him. And he's like, oh, you fuck.
Doesn't Colossus throw up after that or something?
Deadpool is like, don't worry, I'll look out for the other moments.
Yeah. Josh Kelsey gave us $10. Thank you. Atarka says, I enjoyed this movie a lot. It's a fun buddy comedy, and that's all I wanted and came for. Nothing crazy. It has problems, but it's a good time. Definitely recommend. Now I wait on the new Alien movie. Yeah, I mean, that's coming out in August, right? That's the dump month of the summer.
It'd be a nice change of pace if I end up liking that.
It would be, yeah. Mitch, this is more in line with you, Muller. Key Jangles, the movie.
I mean, yeah.
John Burns, Pitch Meeting just came out with its Acolyte video. I haven't seen it yet, actually. It's just not a time. Have you seen it? Pitch Meeting for the Acolyte?
No, but I imagine it's good.
Yeah. Metal Face Rosie, settle an old internet argument. Is Vampire's Kiss so good it's actually so bad it's good, or is it actually good? Vampire's Kiss.
So bad it's good, right? I've seen Red Letter Media cover it. I've never actually watched it myself.
I don't think I have. No, I probably wouldn't be a best place to judge. Cat G says, great open bar and reviewers as always. Regarding the TVA, I bet they had to put it in because Disney and Marvel want to spawn off movies and shows like Agatha. I don't know. Like, is Agatha based around like multiverses and stuff? I thought she was just from.
I cannot envision any fucking reason we needed the TVA at all. This is Deadpool. He had Cable's device. We do not need the TVA whatsoever.
Yeah. I would have been happy to bring them in just for Deadpool to murder them all and be like, this is a fucking stupid organization. I'm glad they're all dead.
Fine with that kind of cameo where he's fucking around with the past and they come in like, hey, you can't do that. And you just start slicing them all to pieces and it's like these fucking guys getting in the way of, fun.
Mm. Yeah, that'd be fine.
Me, yeah.
Matthew Wood says, the NBA recently did a new media deal with Amazon to stream games on Prime Video 2 years from now, so I guess we know where they found the money to continue funding Rings of Power. Also watch Black Sails Drinker. As always, good recommendation. But yeah, they don't need deals in order to fund something like this. They make so much fucking money from their online.
They make like $1 trillion every second.
Yeah. Like, yeah, the $1 billion for Rings of Power is fucking pocket money to them. Mushy Cat says, liked Deadpool and Wolverine, but I loved Mahler's mini rampage about it more. What you thought about the Catherine thing? Would you like to see it? On Mahler, I'm watching Boogie's EFAP, and thank you for how sad and good it is.
No problem. Yeah. Watching Catherine, did they say?
Yeah. What you thought about the CA, and then it's just like blank, 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 Rin thing. Would you like to see it?
CA Rin thing. Is that maybe a spoiler that they're worried about? Or?
I don't know.
Don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure what you were trying to put there. Joe Eager says, can you talk about Final Fantasy VII Rebirth? Yes, I have at length. You can see it on my second channel. There's like a live stream that I did about it, and I did a full review on my gaming channel. So I feel like I've covered Rebirth quite comprehensively already. RRTNZ says, Deadpool Schmedpool. It's time to talk about Dodgeball. It has cameos from William Shatner and Chuck Norris. That alone makes it worthy of your attention. Cheers. Well, it's funny you should say that. Got you covered there.
I love that movie. As does Drinker. And maybe someday a video of us watching it would come out. Who knows?
Yes, who knows? Larry Escher. For Mahler, another important movie from 2005. Joss Whedon's Serenity. Saw it in the mostly empty theater.
Yep, I'm avoiding saying almost anything about it at this point because Drinker will be closing in on seeing it for the first time for himself. Eventually, there'll be the end to the Firefly journey, and it is a fucking great movie as far as I'm concerned.
I'm excited. Odin says, Mahler, could you do a compare and contrast of Acolyte and the Star Wars Holiday Special? I watched the special last Thanksgiving, and honestly, it's like Shakespeare in comparison. Also, the most evil Imperial character appears in it.
Maybe I could do that someday. Compare. The holiday special obviously has a more dramatic weight. We know that.
I think so, yeah, and probably like higher levels of cocaine usage. So that definitely makes it better. Yondus says, "Hi guys, have any of you watched Longlegs yet? And if so, what are your thoughts? For me, it's one of the better horror films of the past few years. Haven't seen it yet. The trailer made me intrigued. I was interested to see where it was going.
I
Just
want
haven't
to check
had a
it out at
chance to
some
watch
point
it
for
yet.
sure.
Yeah, I've heard mixed things about it, but a lot of people seem to think very highly of it. So, Manuel Drinker, would you like to come to Malta Comic Con 2024 this October, November of this year? Get the gang with you, like Gundam, Nerdrotic, and so on. Unfortunately, I can't just marshal everybody and tell them to go to Malta, much as I might like to. I am actually in November. I'm going to be in Grand Rapids for a Comic Con there. So join me in Grand Rapids, I suppose. So that should be fun. Gacha Simp says, I'm 30 now. Guess I'm almost dead. Lol. Happy birthday to me. Okay. It's not the Middle Ages now. You can live beyond 30.
Yeah.
Jonathan Showalter. Drinker, if you liked Fear, you should play Trepang 2 on PC. The mechanics are identical. It has some horror elements, and you can dual-wield Spas 12 shotguns. A top-notch indie shooter about to add swordplay in the first DLC. Very cool. Not really sure how you dual-wield pump-action shotguns, because you kind of need hands to use them, but that's okay. I don't care. But yeah, I've got fond memories of playing Fear, actually. It was a good, fun game. Deval, thoughts on the new M. Night Shyamalan movie Trap? That's the one I was just talking to you about, coming out based on the trailer. What version of M. Night Shyamalan as a filmmaker will we get? I suspect it'll be the shit one, but you can hope. John Burns says, R.I.P. Bill Paxton. Sure, yeah, it's like 5 years late, but that's okay. Jack says, hi, Drinker. Since you mentioned watching Attack on Titan, I was curious what other anime you've watched and what's your favorite. So I'm a fucking normie when it comes to anime. I'm fairly well versed in the Studio Ghibli movies, so those are probably my benchmark for anime. And I've got a real love for Metropolis, which was 2003, I think that was made. That is an absolutely beautiful little anime, and I very much enjoy it. So those are probably my main ones, I suppose. Chris Nicholson. I always found the Deadpool movies a bit phony. They sold themselves as not being afraid to be offensive, but always stuck to safe, corporate-friendly raunchiness. Are jokes about 40-year-old Streisand songs really edgy comedy? I mean, the first one was pretty edgy, I suppose, as far as it goes for a big-budget movie.
I don't know. I never felt the first one had to, censor itself, really. It felt like it did everything it wanted to do.
Yeah. There was definitely an element of Disneyfication with the latest one. It was toned down. Lee Miller gave us £20, so thank you. Nicholas Masters. Hey, panel. How would you recommend experiencing Lord of the Rings for the first time, book or film? Also, Mauler, spread more love for the best character, Wesley from Angel. He's done nothing but love Wesley. I would actually recommend reading the book. And sorry if you're wondering what that noise is. It's me trying to get the cork out of my whiskey bottle. There we go. Read the books first and then experience the movies, because it's so cool to see what they adapted, what they were able to work in, how they were able to reinterpret things slightly, and the things that they left out, sadly. But if you can, read the books first and then go on to the extended editions of the movies, and you'll have a great old time. I did back in the day. It was an amazing experience. Kevin O'Neill says, oh no, the Twister's heading for the sperm bank. Let's see. I'm not sure if I read this one out at the time, but I'll do it again. Haim Barrell says, just seeing the behind the scenes of Rogue Elements. The wonderful cast and team got me so excited. I'm on my third beer, starting the weekend with a big smile here on Open Bar. Thanks to all you guys. God knows I needed that. Cheers. Thank you very much, man. I'm glad you enjoyed. And there's a lot more of those behind the scenes coming. There's actually one coming out tomorrow. So part 3, that's going to be talking about the stunt teams that worked on our movie. So that was pretty good. They did some good work there. Lee Miller says, please review Babylon 5. Where's all the Babylon 5 love coming from this time? I don't get it.
Maybe they're remaking it. They're threatening that,
Yeah. Oh, God. Jay Fraser. Hail, gents. My nephew was born on the 18th. I look forward to being the extra cool uncle who will show him, with a few exceptions, pre-2016 media. That is, yes, be the cool uncle. Show him Predator when he's like 4 years old. He'll love it.
Yeah.
Cosmic Zombie says, prepare yourselves for hyper cringe millennial humor in Borderlands. Yeah, that looks so fucking shit.
More slop.
Yep. Finbar White. Hey, Drinker. Cynthia Rothrock has made a film, Black Creek. She has raised money herself. It's a Western. Could you check it out or the trailer? Thank you. Well, I can take a look at the trailer, see if it piques my interest. That one guy says, shocking the audience is nearly impossible after the movie Antichrist with William Dafoe. Yeah, that was a tough watch. There was some moments in that made me cringe.
Gotta rely on the few people out there who haven't seen it. You know, they could still be shocked.
I think so. Yeah. Casey Boyd says, "Do Drinker and Muller still do gaming streams, or have I been missing them?" Yeah, I haven't done any recently, and I'm very sorry about that. But summertime is just a tough time to do gaming. I don't know what to say. It's just like when it's sunny outside and stuff, I tend to want to actually be out there.
Yeah.
I start doing gaming more when autumn sets in. So there'll
Almost
be more
there.
of that then. Yeah, I've actually got a script written for my review of Stellar Blade, and it has been for like 2 weeks now. I just haven't got around to actually recording and editing it. So I apologize, but that will be going up on my gaming channel shortly.
Sweet.
Jay Fraser. Borderlands was directed by Eli Roth, scripted by Craig Mazin, and completed filming in 2021. 2 years later, 2 weeks of reshoots were directed by Tim Miller, and Mazin's script was rewritten by 7 writers. That's always a good sign, isn't it?
Yeah.
Albert Nada. We've had Twister and Twisters. Next is Twister 3, Twister Resurrection, and then Twister versus Sharknado, and Twister versus Sharknado Requiem. That makes sense. I say go with it. Can we have like a Twister versus a tidal wave? Would that make for a good matchup?
I don't know if we want to go the way of making them both the good guy, the bad guy, or having it be that the Twister's backstory is like he was beaten as a kid, and the Tidal Wave's backstory is his family were killed in a fire. You know,
I think they have to team up to fight an earthquake or something.
Oh yeah, that'll be the third act. At first, you know, they think they're each other's enemies, and then they have to combine into a water-nado to defeat the volcano, or whatever.
Yeah, that makes sense. Jay says, you guys catch the moment in The Boys where the super sheep attacked the bull. One of the sheep literally attacked its genitals while the others quartered it. The writers are like 14 or 15, I think.
Yep.
Yeah, so I just don't really care about The Boys anymore.
Dude, every last fucking clip I see on Twitter is shared of like, oh my god, you see the new Boys episode? It is categorically, it'll be Butcher saying, all right, mate, but to somebody, and then someone's heads explode, and it's like,
yeah,
does anything else happen in this fucking show anymore?
Yeah, it's just like going for stuff for shock value as well. I'm sure they're trying to make it like the crudest, most sexualized humor possible as well. And like, I'm no fucking prude when it comes to stuff like that, but there's got to be something else to back it up. You can't just have that and expect people to be engaged with it.
Yeah.
Garrett Hayden, is existential horror the next step, like Soma? Is that where we want to go?
Well, I mean, not necessarily. It feels like we're still in the, and forever will be in that era of, you know, like the Nun. What is it called? Annabelle, Insidious universe, all that stuff.
Like the Conjuring stuff.
Yeah, all of that, where it's like spooky, haunted, jump scares, forced around some kind of mystical curse. People seem to like that a lot. I think existential, psychological, and Lovecraftian are all welcomed, but only, you know, in pieces. Meanwhile, the standard successful horror seems to be much more in more bombastic movie monster slash, like I said, curses, zombies, witches doing, you know, run up the screen, go blah, 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 and you're like, ah.
Yeah. Oh god, it was. Remember what was that one we were watching where like the girl had a fucking twin growing out the back of her head?
Malignant, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like every time it ran across the screen, we all just went like.
I can't. That's the thing. People are fighting to this day as to whether or not that was supposed to be a scary film in any way, shape, or form. It's just like it was oddly funny for us.
It's got to have been a parody. That's on that basis, so. I can kind of enjoy it and be like, oh, actually, you kind of made fun of like a lot of the horror tropes quite successfully there.
Remember the chair throw?
Yep, he just cop out. It's amazing. I tell you one thing that I'm getting tired of though. I feel like there's a lot of movies that use like either the monster or the kind of haunting aspect as some kind of manifestation of, you know, repressed trauma. I feel like that's been done loads now, and I'm just getting a little bit tired of it. And I'd be quite happy with that to take a bow out for the time being.
To the point where it'd be refreshing if they were like, you see the ghost represent, you're like, no, I'm fine. I'm happy.
Yeah, it's just
it's just a ghost.
It's just a ghost that's out to spook you. Stephanie Rowland says Daniel LaRusso is such a whiner this season. I mean, a lot of them are kind of annoying. Sam still can't fucking fight after like 6 seasons. Like, Jesus Christ, just get some training in. Dev Joe Net says, love seeing Drinker, Muller, and Robot Head together. I lost my dad recently. You each had his favorite to watch with me. A special thanks to each of your videos shitting on the TLJ throne room scene. His favorites. Thanks to you all. Thanks, man. And I'm really sorry to hear about you losing your dad. My condolences. Jacob Furman says, what are the chances that we can get people like Zach Cadle and Chris O'Neill on the open bar? I swear they and the whole Oney crew could make a banger comedy movie and a budget a fraction of the Godzilla -1. I don't think there's much chance.
Honestly, especially with Smiling Friends, they probably want to avoid being anywhere near people like us who are too controversial. Yeah. But if they wanted to, we'd be happy to it.
Casey Boyd says, we can ask, why aren't shows episodic, or why do movies need an overarching plot like multiverses as opposed to standalone movies? But if the writing is good, then would it matter? I mean, well, it's more a case of one particular style gives you a lot more freedom to be more creative with your writing. As we discussed in Open Bar the other night, like if you're writing a TV show and it's episodic, then okay, you can actually bring in different writers for each episode because it's like a standalone story and you can experiment a lot more and do lots of crazy new things. They might not always work, but you're going to get some absolute bangers mixed in amongst them. Whereas if it's a season-long story arc, you know, you have to have the same writers. They all have to know what happened in the previous episode. It's just one long continuous story, essentially. So you've tied yourself down and limited your ability to experiment, I think, which is a shame.
We talked about it before. It's just the way it works. Introducing it is incredibly difficult to control. It's going to be causing you problems no matter what when you enter into time travel, even like clones or just something that takes you to a particular place that's really difficult to deal with. I would say that when you're like, we want to get Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire in, it's like, well, I guess you're going to have to do multiverse, time travel, blah, 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 teleporting, crazy devices, something, because you can't just have them. It wouldn't make any sense. And so then you try to do the best job you can. But bringing it in, you know, you get a bunch of questions that ends up damaging characters or world building. And in the case of Deadpool versus Wolverine, like, as was mentioned on the show, the first question I had was just, if he has access to all of time and space, why is he going to when Logan was dead? Why not reverse time to when he was alive?
Yeah. Taylor Bassett says, howdy gents, I'm trying to start a YouTube channel. How do you guys get footage from movies and TV shows for your videos? So, I mean, the sort of diplomatic answer is just get like a YouTube video download extension for like your browser, and then you can download any clip that's that you can find on YouTube. So most of the time, if it's a slightly older movie, like any scene that you need will be there, and you can download it, and then that allows you to splice a few seconds of it in to your video that allows you to make the point that you want to make. If it's something that's brand new at the cinema, it's probably safer to use trailer footage and just kind of pick and choose the bits that work from that to get you what you need. There's other ways, you know, where you can get the whole movie and then put in bits of that. It becomes tricky though if it's got watermarks on it, as they tend to do, or you know, if it's a new movie and you start showing more than the studio wants people to see, then it might get copyright struck. But those are the main ways, I suppose. I don't know if Muller, you got anything else?
The other ways I usually recommend is just you're gonna have to go with doing your best to work with YouTube clips. That's the main source. And then, of course, be careful because it can be a nightmare with copyright in general. Main thing is the longer you go, the harsher the bots will be.
Yes. John Smith says, thoughts on Lord of the Ring fan complaints about changes to the books, Faramir's character, no scouring of the Shire, Arwen's expanded role, etc. I think I'm fine with it if it's in service of keeping the spirit of the story and it doesn't change it too much. And I think in some cases, I was never a fan of the scouring of the Shire from the books either. It just felt so unnecessary and kind of anticlimactic after everything else that had happened to then introduce another big battle scene right at the end. Didn't need that, and so I was happy for it to be omitted from the movie. Considering how many fucking endings Return of the King's already got, that would have just been insane. So yeah, stuff like that is fine. Faramir's character, I felt like he was fairly similar to the book. He's probably more stoic in the book and probably a bit more traditionally heroic than the Faramir that we got here. I'm trying to remember if his if what happened to him is slightly different.
Well, I know that is one people tend to talk about is the difference in Faramir. I can't speak to it myself.
So he gets knocked unconscious by the Nazgul. They have this weapon called the Black Breath that can just like essentially put people into comas, and then they'll eventually wither away and die. And it's Aragorn, I think, who has to bring him back. That doesn't happen in the movie, does it?
No.
Okay, yeah, so that'll probably be the main one. Cashin says, finally caught a live show. Oh, yeah, I got this one that you're a medevac pilot. Yeah, which is cool as fuck, man. So awesome stuff. Patrick Mulligan says, do not call him Premium Ezra Miller. He is Jason from The Good Place. A great role from a great show that you should do a video on. You too, Muller. The Good Place I've heard of. Never watched it, but apparently it was quite a decent show.
Yeah, I hear it's good.
John Smith says, people are mad that they didn't kiss in Twisters. Do people want romance and intimacy in movies again? Yes, I do, actually.
Yeah.
I just want human connections. It's nice to have a bit of chemistry between your leads. You know, human beings are not fucking blocks of carbon that just bump into each other. Like, we have feelings and we have urges, and it's okay to explore that on screen. Adurian J says, I just came home after watching Deadpool 3. Well, congratulations. And then you got to hear us talk about it.
Yeah.
Jay Fraser, Muller, EFAP movies on the Karate Kid arc. When?
Could happen. Don't know when, but it could.
Casey Boyd, I also watched the Arnie Total Recall for the first time, and I can't find out if it's a dream or reality. I tried searching online, and there's only fan theories. Was it purposely left open-ended? Yes. Arnold and Verhoeven have both spoken about this. They wanted to leave it as open-ended as possible. I think they both came down on different sides. I think Arnold was of the opinion that it was a dream, and Verhoeven thought it was real. But I think it's a wonderfully ambiguous ending to it, and I really appreciate it for that. The movie's actually a lot smarter than people give it credit for. I like it.
Yeah.
And William Holsomback says, hey, Drinker, if you haven't shared yet, do you have any thoughts on Pixar's Inside Out 2 becoming the highest-grossing animated film of all time? I don't really have any thoughts on it. I mean, if it's good, then I guess that's nice that we've got a movie that's done really well this year. I'd be lying if I said I gave much of a shit about the Inside Out movies. I've never seen the first one. Don't really plan on seeing the second one. It's ultimately just a kid's animated movie for me. I've got no real stake in it.
I wasn't fond of the first one, so unless someone told me I really got to see that second one, I don't plan to.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, I guess that's all I got to say about that one. It feels like no one's been talking about it, but it somehow made $1 billion. So, okay, good. But that is the last of the super chats. So we've got there on that list. So thank you guys for sending them in, and we appreciate you as always. Hopefully, we've been able to answer all your questions there, and yeah, and all those so many recommendations for what was it? Black Sails gave us a couple. And that's always a dependable one. I must get around to watching that.
Yeah,
and then a couple of indie movies as well that we should take a bit of time to look at, but. Well, anyway, that's us finished up for today. That is all we've got for today. So go away now.
bye.